February 29th, 1940. The 12th Academy Award ceremony at the Coconut Grove nightclub in Los Angeles buzzed with Hollywood's elite, but one table sat conspicuously isolated at the back of the room. Hattie McDaniel, draped in flowers and dignity, occupied that segregated corner due to the venue's racial policies. Moments away from making Oscar history as the first black performer to claim the Golden Statuette. Her win for Best Supporting Actress in Gone with the Wind should have been a moment of unfiltered triumph. Instead, it exposed Hollywood's most glaring contradiction. While the industry applauded her talent, it simultaneously upheld the very segregation her achievement defied. McDaniel's brief, gracious acceptance speech reflected the impossible tightrope she walked, grateful for recognition while navigating a minefield of racial tension. The NAACP criticized McDaniel for reinforcing harmful stereotypes through her portrayal of Mammy, arguing that her Oscar validated Hollywood's narrow, demeaning vision of black characters. The critique stung because it echoed the painful truth about the limited roles available to black actors at the time. McDaniel defended her choices with pragmatic resolve, famously stating she'd rather play a maid than be one. But the controversy underscored an impossible bind: trailblazer or stereotype, pioneer or participant in a flawed system. Decades later, another twist emerged. McDaniel's Oscar vanished in the 1970s, lost to time like so many achievements by marginalized artists. Whether stolen or misplaced, its disappearance became a haunting metaphor for how easily Hollywood could forget the very milestones it once celebrated. March 26, 1958. The Academy Award ceremony at the RKO Pantages Theater unfolded with typical Hollywood glamour, but behind the glittering facade lay one of Oscar's most troubling episodes. The Bridge on the River Kwai had just claimed Best Picture, and the Screenwriting Award was accepted on behalf of Pierre Bouillet, a French novelist who didn't write the screenplay. The real authors, Carl Foreman and Michael Wilson, were absent that night. Both had been blacklisted for alleged communist ties, their names erased from credits and careers derailed by the era's political paranoia. Pierre, who penned the original novel but wasn't fluent in English, became the symbolic face of a screenplay he never wrote. Industry insiders were well aware of the truth. Foreman structured the script, Wilson refined the dialogue, but acknowledging them would have meant defying the blacklist's unspoken rules. The Academy's silence wasn't just avoidance, it was a tacit endorsement of Hollywood's climate of fear. Justice came slowly. In 1984, both writers received posthumous Oscars, their families finally witnessing the recognition that had been denied for decades. Foreman died that same year, Wilson in 1978. Neither lived to see their names restored. The Bridge on the River Kwai remains a cinematic triumph, but its legacy is shadowed by the moral failure that turned Oscar night into a symbol of political submission. April 13th, 1964. The Santa Monica Civic Auditorium witnessed history as Sidney Poitier's name rang out. Best Actor for Lilies of the Field. The first black man to win Hollywood's top acting honor had just shattered a seemingly impenetrable barrier. Poitier's victory reverberated through an industry still grappling with segregation. Progressive voices hailed the milestone, while others viewed it with unease. Some speculated the Academy was aligning itself with the civil rights movement, using the award as a symbolic gesture. Poitier, ever composed, delivered a measured acceptance speech that scholars would dissect for decades. Because it is a long journey to this moment, I am naturally indebted to countless numbers of people, he told the audience. Behind the scenes, reactions split along familiar lines. Hollywood's old guard faced a new reality, one where representation could no longer be ignored. The aftermath was both inspiring and sobering. While Poitier's win sparked dialogue about inclusion, it also revealed how slowly real change would come. Rumors swirled that some Academy members voted strategically, offering symbolic progress without committing to systemic reform. Poitier's golden moment transcended personal achievement. It became a cultural flashpoint, exposing the tension between progress and resistance in Hollywood's evolving narrative on race. April 9th, 1962. The Santa Monica Civic Auditorium hosted a night of cinematic milestones, but not all stories ended in celebration. Sophia Loren's Best Actress win for two women marked the first Oscar awarded for a foreign language performance, a groundbreaking moment that eclipsed another contender. Natalie Wood's raw, emotionally charged performance in Splendor in the Grass had earned critical acclaim. At just 23, she had transitioned from ingenue to serious dramatic actress, delivering what many considered a defining role. Some observers believe the Academy favored international prestige over emerging American talent. Others pointed to the influence of studio campaigning, suggesting that Sophia's win reflected shifting dynamics in Oscar politics. Biographer Suzanne Finstad later revealed that Wood felt deeply wounded by the loss, viewing it as a major professional setback. The moment underscored how Oscar night could simultaneously celebrate progress and leave deserving talent in the shadows. Lauren's victory opened doors for future foreign-language performances, while Wood's experience became a poignant reminder of how recognition in Hollywood often hinges on timing, politics, and perception. April 13, 1964. The 36th Academy Awards were in full swing at the Santa Monica Civic Auditorium when Sammy Davis Jr. took the stage to present Best Music, Adaptation, or Treatment. With his signature charisma, he opened the envelope and chaos ensued. "Irma la Douce," he announced, but something felt off. Davis paused, double-checked the card, and corrected himself. The actual winner was "Call Me Irresponsible" from Papa's Delicate Condition. Rather than falter, Davis turned the blunder into a comedic gem. "Wait till the NAACP hears about this," he quipped, drawing laughter from the audience and transforming a potential disaster into a moment of levity. The incident became a classic example of live television unpredictability. Davis's quick wit and poise not only salvaged the moment, but elevated his reputation as a consummate entertainer. The mix-up remains one of Oscar's most memorable gaffes, not for the mistake itself, but for the grace with which it was handled. March 25, 1951. The 23rd Academy Awards delivered a shock when Judy Holliday won Best Actress for Born Yesterday, beating out heavyweights like Bette Davis and Gloria Swanson. Davis had been widely expected to win for her commanding role as Margot Channing in All About Eve. But with co-star Anne Baxter also nominated, speculation swirled that vote splitting had paved the way for Holliday's surprise victory. Accounts of Davis's reaction vary. Some say she left early, others claim she remained stoic. Regardless, the upset fueled rumors of behind-the-scenes rivalries and Academy fatigue with Davis's formidable persona. Film historians continue to debate whether charm triumphed over complexity that night. The outcome remains one of Oscar's most debated moments, illustrating how even legends can fall victim to Hollywood's unpredictable politics. April 8, 1963. The 35th Academy Awards crowned Gregory Peck Best Actor for his role as Atticus Finch in To Kill a Mockingbird, but many believe the night belonged to Peter O'Toole. O'Toole's portrayal of T.E. Lawrence in Lawrence of Arabia was hailed as revolutionary, introspective, volatile, and deeply human. Critics and audiences alike were stunned when his name wasn't called. Historians argue the Academy favored Peck's moral clarity over O'Toole's psychological complexity. The decision reflected a broader reluctance to embrace cinema's evolving artistic ambitions. This marked the beginning of O'Toole's infamous Oscar drought. 8 nominations, no wins. Some believe his off-screen antics and refusal to conform alienated voters. Decades later, his loss remains one of the Academy's most enduring controversies. March 27, 1963. The 35th Academy Awards featured a moment of confusion when presenter Ed Begley mispronounced the name of Best Supporting Actress winner Patty Duke as Patricia Duke. Though minor, the slip highlighted the pressure of live television and the importance of getting names right, especially during a moment of triumph. Duke, just 16 at the time, handled the moment with grace, but the flub became a footnote in Oscar lore. It served as a reminder that even the most prestigious ceremonies are vulnerable to human error, and that poise under pressure often defines a winner as much as the award itself. The golden glow of Oscar night couldn't conceal the shadow looming over Hollywood's most prestigious ceremony. In the late 1940s and 50s, the Academy Awards became a stage where fear dictated who could bask in the spotlight, and who was forced into obscurity. The Hollywood blacklist turned Tinseltown into a minefield of suspicion. Writers, directors, and actors were not only barred from working, but also denied recognition for their contributions. The Oscars, meant to honor artistic brilliance, became entangled in one of the industry's darkest chapters. Dalton Trumbo personified this contradiction. The gifted screenwriter won 2 Academy Awards, for Roman Holiday in 1954 and The Brave One in 1957, but couldn't publicly accept either. For Roman Holiday, Ian McClellan Hunter accepted the award under his own name to shield Trumbo. For The Brave One, the fictitious Robert Rich was credited, leaving Academy officials scrambling backstage for a winner who didn't exist. The phantom acceptance left insiders murmuring about the obvious ruse. The Academy's silence during these ceremonies was deafening. No acknowledgement of the missing honorees, no nod to the injustice. Some believe the Academy feared political backlash if they appeared to support blacklisted talent. In the Cold War era, institutions that should have defended creative liberty instead chose self-preservation. Trumbo finally received official credit for The Brave One in 1975 and for Roman Holiday in 1993, a long overdue correction that couldn't erase decades of erasure. On February 29, 1940, Vivien Leigh claimed the Best Actress Oscar for her portrayal of Scarlett O'Hara in Gone with the Wind. Her acceptance speech was brief and composed, typical of an era when winners kept their remarks modest, unlike today's often tearful monologues. Behind the scenes, however, Hollywood was buzzing. Leigh's romantic involvement with the married Laurence Olivier had become one of the industry's most whispered about scandals. Though the press of the time didn't dwell on personal affairs during awards coverage, the gossip added a layer of intrigue to her victory. The film itself was already stirring controversy. While Southern audiences embraced its nostalgic depiction of the antebellum South, others criticized its romanticized portrayal of slavery and the Confederacy. Though most media coverage in 1940 focused on the film's technical and artistic achievements, the cultural debate surrounding it would only grow louder in the decades to come. There were also quiet concerns about Leigh's mental health, which would become more apparent later in her career. At the time, such issues were rarely discussed publicly, especially for women in the spotlight. In 1940, the focus remained on her remarkable performance and the historic nature of her win. In 1973, Marlon Brando made headlines when he declined the Best Actor Oscar for The Godfather. Instead of attending the ceremony, he sent Native American activist Sachin Littlefeather to refuse the award on his behalf, protesting Hollywood's portrayal of indigenous people. Though this moment falls just outside the golden age, its roots trace back to decades of misrepresentation in film. Brando's act was unprecedented and sparked intense debate. Some applauded his stance, while others accused him of politicizing the ceremony. The Academy was caught off guard. Littlefeather was met with a mix of applause and boos, and her speech was cut short. The incident remains one of the most politically charged moments in Oscar history, highlighting the tension between art and activism. In 1955, Judy Garland was widely expected to win Best Actress for her role in A Star is Born. Critics hailed her performance as a triumphant comeback, and many considered her the frontrunner. But when the envelope was opened, the Oscar went to Grace Kelly for The Country Girl. The upset shocked audiences and left Garland devastated. She had even prepared to accept the award from her hospital bed, having recently given birth. Some speculate that Garland's troubled reputation, marked by substance-related incidents and studio conflicts, may have influenced voters. Others believe the Academy simply favored Kelly's more understated performance. Either way, the snub remains one of the most talked-about disappointments in Oscar history. In 1942, screenwriter Dudley Nichols declined his Oscar for The Informer, citing the Writers Guild's ongoing strike against the Academy. Though he eventually accepted the award years later, his initial refusal was a bold statement. This early act of protest set a precedent for future artists who used the Oscars as a platform for political expression. While Nichols didn't deliver a speech, his absence spoke volumes. Later protests like Brando's would follow in his footsteps. Dorothy Dandridge made history in 1955 as the first black woman nominated for Best Actress for her role in Carmen Jones. Though she didn't win, her presence at the ceremony was a powerful statement. Dandridge faced racism both on and off screen. At the Oscars, she was seated separately from white attendees and was largely excluded from the evening's social events. Her quiet dignity in the face of discrimination left a lasting impression. While she didn't deliver a speech or stage a protest, her very nomination challenged the industry's norms. Dandridge's legacy paved the way for future generations of performers of color. If you've enjoyed this video, please leave a like and comment. Also, consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell to get notified of our new videos each week. Thanks for watching.